All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Makakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim, if you walk by who may be listening. This is your brother Batakallah from the GMS camp here in Chicago, coming back at you with another video through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai. All right, and Lord willing, this will be an edifying lesson. All right, so today, this lesson we're going to go into, it's going to be a response to a lesson that the Apostle Tahar did. He was speaking about a a garbage man, um, excuse me, a garbage man strike that's going on in Philly right now. All right, and when I was watching the video, it just kind of made me think about the film The Joker, the first one with Joaquin Phoenix. It came out a few years ago, probably in like 2020 or 2021. But throughout that film, you know, the city of Gotham was, teetering on, or not collapse, but teetering on sedition and, people just rioting in the street. And one of the main things that they were constantly mentioning in the film was that the garbage man was on strike. And, if you watch the movie throughout the film, you see, you know, a parallel of the deterioration of civility with the trash in the environment getting worse and piling up more and more, basically. All right. And, these devils, they do something called predictive programming, where they'll put their plans in these movies. And then, lo and behold, a few years down the line, or however long down the line, it'll happen in real life. All right. Now, I'm not saying that this is 100% going to happen. This is just my opinion as a man. But when I was watching the video and the apostle was going in on the garbage strike, it made me think of this film. All right. But, and also that film was also going into, just the downfall of the Edomite male, Salakia, the Edomite male, and how they don't really have a place in their own society anymore unless they in the top level. But the average Edomite male not having a place, not having a family, not having nothing, just being depressed, which is who the character Arthur Fleck was depicting. All right, but we're going to get the scriptures now. This is 2nd Esdras 15:5. Behold, saith Yahweh, I will bring plagues upon the world, and the sword, famine, death, and destruction. For wickedness hath exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. All right, so, that trash being all over the place over there in Philly is already a dirty ass fucking city. For those of you who have been there before, But with the trash piling up, they're just putting it on the side of the road, and it's just piling up and piling up because nobody's coming to pick it up. And those things spread diseases, man. And that's how people, all type of shit gets spread through the air and just due to close proximity to all of that filth. All right. And like I said, the city was already filthy. So, it's even more on top of that. All right. But this is going to lead, or this could lead to, sedition, people going crazy, people rioting, violence. All right. And at the end of the day, that's coming to the earth, regardless of whether this strike gets handled or not. But this could be something that they use as a catalyst to start and kick shit off in that particular area. And, I thought it was ironic that, it's happening over there in Philly. And that's like where this, in the 18th century, the late 18th century, 1776 and, the years prior to that, that was where this country's so-called independence movement started, in Philadelphia in particular, but also other surrounding areas in the Northeast. But Philadelphia was like the capital almost back then. But yeah, man. All right, we're gonna get the next precept. Actually, we're gonna jump down to verse 15 in this 2nd Esdras. This 2nd Esdras 15 and 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." All right, and being surrounded by all that filth and sickness, it has a mental effect on people, man. All right, one of the main reasons, or one of the main things that Esau does to keep Jake in a bugged out state is having them in these disgusting hoods and neighborhoods that are just, filthy everywhere, not kept up as far as, the grass and the trees and all that shit, if there is any trees there to begin with. And that has an effect on your mental state. All right. And continuing with that, you know, you're gonna Salakia, but continuing with that, you know, it's gonna drive these Jakes crazy, and it's gonna drive these Edomites even crazier because they used to living in comfort. All right, they used to shit being right and clean, and Philadelphia is actually a city that has a lot of gentrification going on outside of the few areas where Jake is still at. All right, but these devils are gonna rise up because of this, and Jake already is ready for whatever. So people are gonna be dying from sicknesses, and that's gonna cause people to lose their mind, man. All right, but let's continue. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." All right, and this strike is a strike really against because and Apostle Tahar went in this in the video. You know, garbage collection, people that work for the sanitation industry, as far as on a city level or a societal level. That's a civil service that's mandatory. You have to have that. If garbage and trash is being left everywhere, that spreads sickness and people die from that. So not having the trash being collected and cleaned up is detrimental to society. It's like not having police. It's like not having paramedics. All right, it's just as severe and serious as that is. All right, and the government is pretty much in charge of that. All right, and for it to be a strike, meaning that the government is not trying to make amends with these people that are working, and however this union that deals with that wants to be treated and compensated, the government is not willing to do it, and that's why they went on strike. All right, so this is going to cause people to just lose. This is another thing that will make people lose faith in they elected officials and start to just say fuck it and start to not acknowledge them even more. All right, because this is something that really should be able to be solved easily, like the apostle has said. But it's not about solving a problem. It's about causing a problem so that they can take their next step into what they're doing. All right, and we're gonna get this next precept. We'll go to Micah 2:1. It says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand." All right, and we know that these devils want to stir the pot up enough to start causing trouble so that they can be justified in instigating martial law and all these other devices that they got planned to usher this society into the NWO and ultimately mandate the MOTB. All right, but the way that they get the ball moving is by doing things to agitate the population and get them to riot and react so that they can then come with the solution, which is putting the military on the streets, putting curfews on people, putting anybody who doesn't want to follow instructions to death. These are all things that they got in their mind to do, man. And that's what's going to happen. It's not about if, it's about a win. And, whether this particular incident kicks some shit off over there in Philly or not, it's still going to happen one way or another. All right. But we'll get this last one and then we'll close it out. This Deuteronomy 28:61. And the apostle had mentioned this also in the video. We're going to bring it out too. This Deuteronomy 28:61. "Also every sickness and every plague which is not written in the book of this law, them will Yahweh bring upon thee until thou be destroyed." All right. So guess what? Like mentioned, having this trash outside and just sitting there chilling, and it's in the middle of the summer, that spreads disease and sickness. And, the apostle mentioned that what they're doing is taking this trash and putting it in particular parts of the city. So, these devils ain't leaving this shit on their front lawn. They packing their car up and going to wherever the fuck Jake live at on the north side of Philly or wherever, South Philly, wherever the fuck Jake live at over there. And they dropping the trash off over there in Jake's neighborhood, man. All right, and this is just going to spread disease, and eventually they're going to run out of room over there where Jake is at, and it's going to start piling up where they're at too. And even if it doesn't, all this stuff is airborne and in the air. So you living amongst filth, even if you try to tuck it in another area, the whole, it's still going to spread. All right. And, God knows what's going to, what's going to be the result of that. All right. But we hoping that, it's another thing that speeds this process up so that Yahweh Shai can come back and destroy this place. All right, but with that being said, we're going to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Rakakwadash, double honors to the apostles, the elders, and the men of great millstone. Shalom to the Akim, and if you walk, who may be listening. Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. Until next time, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Paul.